Canadian government now says MP Michael Chong was targeted in what it calls an online information operation. Ottawa believes China's role was, quote, highly probable in the foreign interference against the Conservative member of Parliament. But it says getting definitive proof of that is impossible because of the covert nature of how social media networks are leveraged in these type of campaigns. The government says it happened in May of this year. Canadian officials will raise the issue with Chinese representatives.
I don't think these sanctions are going to work. In fact, all they're doing is drawing attention to these violations of human rights. There are some 12 million Uyghurs in Western China that are being subject to a genocide. China has built hundreds of detention camps housing millions of Uyghur Muslims simply for being Muslim. It's unacceptable in this day and age, just some 75 years after another horrific genocide, for us to see this happen again. And so we have to call it out for what it is. We cannot turn a blind eye to these kinds of human rights violations.
So, Michael, what steps are you going to take now?
I'm going to continue to speak up. I will not be silenced in speaking up against these human rights violations in China, against China's violations of international law. China is violating the 1948 Genocide Convention. It's violating the 1984 joint declaration between China and the United Kingdom, and I will not be silenced in speaking up against these violations of international treaty. I call on the Liberal government to do the same, to speak up and stand up for human rights both here and abroad, and to uphold the international rules-based order. We cannot allow a state actor like China to thumb its nose at international treaties. If we do that, the entire global system of rules-based treaties will fall apart. That's why it's important that we take a stand, and I think we should continue to do that even in face of these sanctions.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just mentioned the fact that you would like to see the Canadian government take a stand. What's the likelihood of that happening in your opinion?
Well, I don't know is the short answer. We continue to put pressure on the Liberal government to take a position on this genocide. We note that they often talk about working multilaterally with our allies, but often, when given the chance, don't. The United States has formally recognized that what is taking place is a genocide in Western China, and we call on the Liberal government to join our ally, the United States, and do the same.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us this afternoon. I know this is big news. We really appreciate you speaking to us. Once again, that is Conservative MP Michael Chong. Thanks again, Michael.
Thank you.